Yeah, there's a lot of news, man. And one of the most exciting to me is the J. Cole album. I'm just going to get straight into that. I want to talk about that immediately. I'm excited, man. I've been waiting for a new J. Cole project for years. This Fall Off album has been, announced. And a while ago, he actually had a list of albums that he was going to, put out his planned schedule. And according to J. Cole, The Fall Off is his last album. And that's it. He's done. He's not making music anymore, which I usually don't believe. Whenever these artists say, oh, I'm retiring, it's my final album, I just never believe it because they always come back. It's always something where they just have to come back. It's like a boxer sometimes where a basketball player where they say, I'm done, and then they come back. Like Michael Jordan saying he retired, he's done. Instead, he comes back and plays for the Wizards and it's Dookie Water. And then, let's just say, who else? Jay-Z was a great example of, quote unquote, retiring after the Black album, and then he comes back. So I don't think J. Cole's going to retire. I just don't believe it. Who knows? He might be a person that retires, though, because he is very low-key. So I would not be surprised if he does retire. But I think it's all about how the Fall Off is received as an album. If it's received really well, then yes, I can see him retiring and being like, hey, this is my send-off. But that's also, a catch-22 where it's like, oh, shit, I still got it. People still love me. I still need to keep going. Or it's like, hey, I'm gonna end this off with a bang with the best project that I've ever released in my career, and I keep it moving. But usually people come back. If they drop like a very good, like Michael Jordan doing, a three-peat, again a three-peat, he could have retired after that three-peat and went out like a pure legend. Instead, he came back because I think he thinks he still had it at the time. And that's the problem with it is like you need to find a balance of like, do I want to come back and potentially ruin my legacy, or do I just want to retire? So yeah, that's the gist of it. The album is sounding, he released one track and people are saying it's a double disc album because the track is titled Disc 2, Track 2, I believe. Let me see just to make sure. Yeah, it's titled The Fall Off Disc 2, Track 2. And it sounds amazing, man. Now, the challenge, at least in my opinion, is if he can top Born Sinner. To me, that's his best album. To me, that if he can do better than that, then he's definitely going out on top. But to me, that's very hard for him to top because to me, I consider that a classic. As you guys know, I don't just throw the word classic around lightly. Not the Fall Off, but Born Sinner to me, I don't skip a single track off that album. I can't think of a single track I skip off that album. I really, really love that album. Something about it was just perfect, man. I think the timing of when it came out, all that stuff. I consider the For Your Eyes Only, not For Your Eyes Only. Let me see which one it is. I think it's For Your Eyes Only. I'm tripping right now. Let me go over his catalog because, yeah, so For Your Eyes Only, I consider his worst album. It's so bad. I think I only like one track on there. King of Diamonds, I think it's King of Diamonds, KOD, right? Or Kids King of Diamonds. Why am I thinking King of Diamonds? Isn't that like a strip club or something? It's Kids on Drugs, King Overdosed, Kill Our Demons. I guess those are the four or the three different acronyms or whatever. But that album was all right too. I wasn't like, it's that good of an album. But then when the off season came, I really enjoyed the off season. I really liked that album. So Cole's had like, what's interesting about Cole's career, he's had like, for me at least, in my opinion, he's had like interesting swings where like, then one album's fucking amazing and it's a classic to me, and then the next album is just pure dog shit. I don't know how to. It's sorry for saying that word, dog shit. Like I'm completely shitting on his music, like he's horrible or something. I don't know why I use some of the most disrespectful words. It's just not a good album. Is basically what I'm saying. I don't want to disrespect these artists and their craft like that by saying that. I need to chill with that. But like he has these moments where it just swings. His first album, debut album, Cold World, The Sideline Story, I actually enjoyed it. It was pretty good. But then Born Sinner to me is a classic. Then you go to 2014 Forest Hills Drive, and it's pretty good. I don't think of it as like his best album. A lot of people consider that his best album, but it's a good album. It's probably great. It's probably 8 out of 10. And then you go to For Your Eyes Only, and it's just horrible. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do an album ranking of J. Cole. I'm actually going to do that. That's before the Fall Off comes out. I'm going to do that. I know I've been saying that on the podcast a lot, but I'm going to do a quick album ranking of this. Because I've actually listened to a lot of these projects. I'm going to re-listen to only like KOD and For Your Eyes Only. Those are the only ones I got to listen to. I've listened to a lot of these throughout like last year. Cold World, Silent. So I'm actually doing an album ranking of this. And yeah, I'm just, to me, Born Sinner is the best album on there. And that's just, what I think. It's a classic to me. But yeah, he has these swings where it's like, to me, it feels like it's not consistent. It started out consistent, like the Cold World Sideline Story. I liked Born Center Classic, 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like those first three was like, yeah, he's solid. But then it just went after there, just like left and right, and it was just weird. He had two back-to-back like bad albums to me. But that's just my take, Regardless, I'm excited. I think he had a list. Let me see what his list of albums were that he put online. People are saying that there's a double disc, and he's going to drop like another album before the Fall Off. And the list is this. He actually showed it. This is from J. Cole himself. The Off Season, which he already released. It's a Boy, which is in the middle, and then the Fall Off. So It's a Boy has to be something. That has to be a project. So we'll see. That's what we're looking at. I'm excited nonetheless. The track sounds amazing. It sounds like it could potentially be J. Cole's best work ever. Now, if he ends up on top and the album is great, I don't want him to retire. If it's all right and it's mid, it's like a 6 out of 10, then I'll be like, all right, man, hang it up. Let these new youngins, do their thing. I mean, I still, at the end of the day, he's young, man. How old is J. Cole? He's like 40 years old, which is still young. Yeah, he's exactly 40 years old. He actually turns 41 in like a week and a half. January 28th is his birthday. So about a week and a half he turns. So he's 41 years old. That's not that old in terms of making music and hip hop, at least in today's time. If this was in the early 2000s, they'd be clowning. They'd be saying you're, old fart, get the fuck up out of here, But now, it's extended. I think he can still rap in his prime till his 50s, like Eminem is doing. But yeah, hopefully, you know what's cool? I hope there's some cool features on this album. I hope, I would love to get a J. Cole and Eminem track together, since that hasn't happened. I would love to get a J. Cole and 50 Cent track again, because J. Cole is a huge fan of 50. They worked on the Born Center like deluxe version where like it was a mixtape. What was the mixtape that he added on top of that? It was like a deluxe version with the mixtape on it. And on that track, 50 was on it, the New York Times, but it was only 50 on the hook. Like I would love to have a J. Cole and 50 track where like, they're both going back to back in bars, or 50 just has a great verse. Eminem on there. To be honest, I would like to hear J. Cole and Jay-Z. I love Mr. Nice Watch. I don't remember the last time they collaborated. That actually might have been the last time they actually collaborated. I could be wrong because I can't think of right now. And Jay-Z. I would love to hear Jay-Z on the album. I would love a J. Cole and Kendrick track. I would love J. Cole and Drake again. Who else, man? Who else on the album that I would love? I don't know. Those are just coming to my mind right now. There's plenty more, but those are the select few. Since we haven't heard J. Cole and Eminem, I would like that the most. If you were to ask me, hey, what would you want out of this the most as a feature, I would put Eminem on there. I would just like to hear them two together. It would be interesting. That's all. So that's my kind of take on it. I just wanted to talk about the J. Cole thing immediately, just get it out the way, because I'm just excited for it, man. When I saw the announcement, heard the track, I couldn't wait, man. I've been waiting for a J. Cole album for a long time. I consider J. Cole one of the best. He's in my top 10, period. It might not seem like that because he doesn't drop a lot of music, and I don't really talk about him often because he's not really in the scene. But, that's the thing, too. You guys got to remember as well is just because, like, media outlets, or me specifically, I don't talk about certain artists, doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just they're not in the news. They're not out there. And then people, question, why are you always talking about 50? Well, 50 is like, the reason why 50 is so relevant musically now, again, still, is because of all the stuff he does daily. He's always in the cycle of the news. There's always something new. So when people are like, why are you always reporting off? Why are you always talking about 50? He's always in the news. Like legitimately every week there's something. And that keeps his name relevant versus a J. Cole where it's like he disappears. And then finally you hear he's dropping an album and then we talk about him for that, 2-3 weeks, and that's it. And then he disappears again and you never hear about him again. You'll hear about, the Cameron lawsuit against J. Cole, but that's about it. You won't hear much of anything from him. So you can't talk about somebody who's just not out there like that. Like that's just the reality of the situation. So when people are questioning, why are you talking about only this person or that person or this? Like, because they're the ones that are just out there, in the media making their waves. That's really about it. You can only report on what's out there unless you're doing like rankings and just, critiquing music all day on the podcast, which I could go that route as well. It would be a lot harder, but I just like the news cycle because one, it keeps you guys informed. It keeps me informed. I stay in the loop of things. And, that helps for anything else that I'm, working on down the line. And then, yeah, we'll do, like I said, I'm going to do the J. Cole one. Legitimately, by the time the next episode comes out, I will release a J. Cole album ranking. I'm going to do that immediately. And then I'm going to, I could wait till after the fall off, but fuck it. I'm just going to do it right now. I'm going to do the Kanye West one as well. I'm going to do a 50 Cent one because I know a lot of you guys want me to rank 50's albums. And, you guys are like, oh, this was what I think you think. Whatever, I'm going to rank those. I'm going to rank a lot of albums. I just want to do a lot of album rankings. I'm in the mood for that. I've always been, in the mood for that. And then I'm going to do I think Alonzo, shout out to you. We're talking about potentially listening to old album or ranking or giving my take on old albums that came out, like Tupac, All Eyes on Me, and giving what I think out of 10 about it. So I might end up doing that as well, because believe it or not, I know it's going to be a shock to a lot of you guys. With me being 30 years old, turning 31, Tupac, when he was in his prime, I was born in 1995. I was like one before Tupac died, basically. I made it to 1 year old. That's it. So in Tupac's prime, I wasn't listening to this guy's music like that. It's not like I know every single Tupac song that's ever come out, or every Biggie record, or or every song that came out in the 90s. I don't. I know a lot of it. I know a bulk of it, but that's something that would be really cool to go over as well.